Hey scholars, it's Miss Marnon. So this video is a crash course for standard 7.RP.2c. It was about writing and using proportional equations. So the most important thing we need to remember is that when we are writing a proportional equation, we're using the form y equals kx. So when you're writing a proportional equation, all you are doing is replacing this k value, and then sometimes you have different variables. Usually we have y and x. So when you're finding that unit rate, that constant of proportionality k, we know that when we're reading a problem, looking at a table or anything, we use the formula k equals y over x. So when you start to write an equation, so say I want to do something that's miles per hour, and they want me to use m for miles and h for hours. So maybe instead of y over x, I set it up like this, and I want miles per hour. So that would be my m for miles, and then my h for hour. So if they told me that the car went 120 miles in 2 hours, 120 divided by 2, my k value, my constant proportionality, my unit rate is 60 miles per hour. So normally we would write the equation y equals 60x, but because instead of a y, I want to use m for miles. 60 stays the same, and instead of x, we're going to use h for hours. So that is the easiest way when they're giving you different variables other than y and x. Set up to find your k with y and x, and then figure out what variables you want where. If we wanted hours per mile, we'd have to flip it so the h is on top, which means then the 2 would be on top. So we could write a second equation. So let's say we want to flip it. So normally we do y over x. Now for some reason we want how many hours it takes to go 1 mile. So this would also be flipped, right? The 2 hours for the 120 miles, we would get 1/60th. So to go 1 mile, it takes 1/60th of an hour, which we know is a minute. So if we were going to write this equation, this one, instead of y, it would be h equals 1/60th m. So we would have to do 1/60th times the number of miles to figure out how many hours. This one, we can take 60, multiply it by any number of hours they tell us to figure out how many miles they give us. So there's always 2 types of equations we can write. It's going to be making sure we're doing our unit rate in the correct way we want it, and we get the equation set up in the way we want it. And that's it for the standard 7RP2c.